Hey there, this is Marilee with Easy Budget, and today I'm going to be showing you a full tutorial on how to use my Personal Finance SuperSpreadsheet system. This is an 8-in-1 spreadsheet system that's going to help you get organized with your finances and start managing your money a lot better. So included in this SuperSpreadsheet system is a bill tracker, a budget, a savings and sinking funds tracker, a debt organizer, goals and financial planning for the next few years section so you can get organized with that, net worth tracker, and an income and credit score tracker. All of these tools are going to help you get a lot more organized with your money so that you know where your money is going, how your wealth is growing, if you're on track with your goals, and so on. So let's go ahead and get into the spreadsheet tutorial so I can show you how to work it. All right, so the first thing to know is that this is an Excel file, and you can open Excel up in Mac or on a PC. And you can also upload this to Google Sheets, but I don't recommend that you directly upload the file because you might find that some of the fonts and graphs don't transfer over perfectly. I'm going to include for you with your purchase a Google Sheets version of this, so click on that one separately if you want to open this file up in Google Sheets. Either way, you're going to find tabs along the bottom here, and these bottom tabs are going to be each different spreadsheet, but they're all lumped into one big one to keep everything organized. So the first one that you'll find is a Start Here sheet. I'm going to show them all to you, and then I'm going to show you how to work each one. Next is going to be a bill tracker. Then we have our budget. Next is the savings and sinking funds tracker. Debt and extra payments organizer, not to be confused with my debt snowball calculator, which is separate. Your 5-year financial plan page, your net worth tracker, and an income and credit score tracker. These are all things that are going to help you get a lot more organized with your finances. They're things that I have found essential on my journey, and I think you will find them very helpful on your journey as well. And I've designed each of these spreadsheets to be detailed, but also user-friendly and simple. So the first page is going to be a Start Here page, which is just a welcome from me, some very quick instructions to get you going. The next thing is going to be a bill tracker. So on this bill tracker, you want to make sure that you write down all of your annual bills, if you have any. Not everybody does, but some people do. And all of your monthly bills that repeat. This is going to help you go and build your budget a lot quicker because you're going to know the dates that all of these bills are paid, whether they're manual or an auto draft, and the amounts. So this I've placed before the budget sheet because before you go and build your budget, it's very helpful if you have all of your fixed and variable bills written out. So here's how you use the bill tracker. I've already got it partially filled out just for simplicity. Your copy is also going to be partially filled out because I find it helpful to get started already seeing what to do. So you can just go ahead and delete what I've already got in there and start typing in your own information that's like that for every sheet. So for example, on this annual bill tracker, maybe you have an annual HOA bill. I know we do. So I type the date that that's due, the amount, and then I can go ahead and mark a little X here once that's paid. And I've just got a little note here, whether it's a manual or an auto draft. Then your bills will automatically total at the bottom. Most of the formulas in this spreadsheet are automatic, and you will be typing in the white boxes, and everything that's in gray or colored boxes is going to be auto-calculated for you. Same thing over here with monthly bills. So try to find all of your bills and type them in here one by one. You're going to have utilities, light bill, cell phone bill, and Netflix. All of those things, put them in here. Also include your minimum payments for all of your debts because those act as bills. You have a minimum payment for every credit card, car loan, student loan payment, etc. All those things are basically a monthly bill that you have to pay, so make sure you include them here as well. Write the date that that bill is due. Write what the bill is, write the amount, whether it's manual or auto draft, and then there's a little section here where you can put a little X once the bill is paid each month just to make sure that you've got your bills paid and you're clear on that. It's going to total up your monthly bills here for you as well to make it easy. Now once you've got the bill tracker all filled out, you can move over to building your budget. Now, if you've used any of my budget spreadsheets before, this part should be pretty easy, but if you haven't, then I'm going to explain how to use it really quick. I recommend budgeting by paycheck, which means that you are going to not be necessarily budgeting from the 1st of the month to the 31st of the month. You want to actually budget by paycheck, which means you have a little mini budget for each paycheck that you get. Where is that money actually going to go? Once it hits your bank account, what's it going to get spent on? What bills is it going to pay? What variable spending is it going to pay? Do a budget for each paycheck so that you can be keeping very close track of your cash flow, when the money comes in and when it actually goes out. And this is going to allow you to pay off debt and save and invest a lot more quickly. So what you'll see is that you have a little section here for each different paycheck. So this is all for one paycheck, all for another paycheck here. And if you keep scrolling over here to the right, you'll see that there's enough for 5 different checks, and you can actually break these down if you want or put them back up again. But this way, people who get paid weekly, there's a little section for each paycheck that you might have here, and this will work for any pay schedule. If you have multiple incomes in your family, like maybe someone's getting paid weekly and another person's getting paid biweekly, you can lump paychecks that come close together into one pay period just to make it simple. So each paycheck is going to have its own little section here where you are going to type in the income, and then you're going to write all your budget categories in here. You know, this is your rent and your bills and your debt payments that are all fixed expenses. And then down here, you're going to type in all your variable expenses. So this is going to be things like your groceries and your restaurants and your household spending and all those things that kind of vary in when you pay for them and how much you spend. And then miscellaneous is the section down here where you can type in those one-off things that happen only certain times, like holidays. They don't repeat every month, so I would consider that miscellaneous. So some anniversary money or Christmas money, or maybe you have your car registration due that month. You can type all of that in miscellaneous. And this is also a great place to write in extra debt payments and sending money to debt, to savings, I meant. So what's going to happen here is that you're going to budget out all of your income, every dollar of it, so that your total expenses here should match your total income from the pay period, and the remaining should say 0. That means you've budgeted out every single dollar and it's planned. That includes savings and extra debt payments and everything. Every dollar from each paycheck should be planned out in advance in this budgeted column. Then throughout the pay period, and definitely at the end of the pay period, you're going to fill in the spent column with what you actually spent during that pay period, and it's going to total your expenses, your actual expenses here, and then this little remaining is going to show what's actually remaining, and that's what should be basically left over in your bank account. And you're going to do that for each paycheck. And that's how this spreadsheet works. So there's a second paycheck income section here, and you can do the exact same thing for your next check, and each different check, there's a section for that. Now, how do you know what to actually put for what you spent? That's where you have to actually go track your spending. So you need to come up with a good spending tracker, open up your bank account statements, and find out that information for what you spent on groceries and what the actual amounts on your bills were, etc. And there's also a little spending tracker down here if you'd like to use this. I personally don't use this section because I use a different type of spending tracker, but it is available to you there. There's also a little mini section here to help you keep in mind your main goals for the month so that you don't forget. So for each new month, you're just going to go ahead and duplicate the budget tab by right-clicking on the budget tab and hitting move or copy, and then you can create a new budget for each new month. You might end up having a lot of tabs along the bottom here, so organize those however you will, but that's how you'll use this budget spreadsheet. The next is going to be your savings and sinking funds tracker. This is going to help you organize the different things that you're saving up for. Let's say maybe that you're saving up an emergency fund, you're also saving up for a vacation, and you're also saving up for your child's braces. You have multiple different things you're saving up for at the same time, but all of that money is getting kept in one big savings account at your local bank. Well, how can you know what that money in that bank account is actually for? That's what this spreadsheet tracker is for. It's going to help you just kind of be a lot more clear about what you're saving up for, how close you are to reaching your savings goal for each individual thing that you're saving for, and keep everything really organized, especially if you're putting new money into the savings and pulling money out of it here and there. This is going to help you get that all organized. So we've got here a grand total of all savings. It's going to add up all the savings that you've got just for kind of a quick fun glance. And also you should constantly, every time you update this, update the last updated box here so that you can see if it's current. So right here we've got different little savings / sinking funds. Sinking funds is just another way of saving up for something over time. So you put a little bit of money aside for every month for several months until you reach your goal. That's all a sinking fund is. And I've got these already labeled, but you can change the labels here. I've got emergency fund, Christmas fund, 2 things that I think everybody should have. but there's also different sinking funds over here. If you scroll all the way to the right, you'll see that I have a bunch of different sinking funds here for you to be tracking. If you go to the little top bar here where my cursor is, there's actually these little plus boxes you can add more in. I don't recommend having more than this though. So I think I have 9 different sinking funds trackers in here for you. And some of you might ask me, hey, can you make me more? The answer is no, because I don't think you need more than this. If you probably have a little bit too much going on if you have more sinking funds than this. You can consolidate some of them to make it simpler. So what you're going to do for each individual fund that you're saving for, like your emergency fund, for example, is type in the goal amount here. This is editable. So let's see, we could change that to 8,000. I'm just going to keep it at 10,000 because that's what I want it to be. But that's where you would do it. Now, that's going to change your goal amount here. And also it's going to help you, it's going to start tracking your percentage complete. When you start adding money to it, it's going to show you how close you are to reaching your goal. And it's going to total up the savings here. It's very simple. Every time you add or take away money that's intended for this individual sinking fund, you should record it here. Write the date, write the transaction, like for example, leftover money from my paycheck, or found $20 on the street, or $500 added from my side hustle. The more specific you are here, the better records you'll have, and you'll thank yourself for having those records. And then write the amount, so either a plus or a minus. If it's a plus, you don't have to write plus, but if it's a minus, you need to write minus. So for example, let's say I saved $1,000 because I had $1,000 left over from my check and it went into my emergency fund. But then a few days later, I needed to borrowed for vet bill. You had an unexpected vet bill and you're having to pull money out. And you had to pull out $200 from the savings. You'll write minus 200, and it's going to keep that sinking fund updated for you so you can see how much money you have. And you'll do that for each individual one. And hopefully the goal is that over time, you'll have all these sinking funds filled out and you'll have plenty of money for emergencies and for Christmas and for different things that are coming up. And it's a great way to keep track of all your savings. Next is going to be your debt and extra payments organizer. This is where you're going to keep track of your current debt that you have and also keep it organized as you pay it down over time. I found that keeping records of this is very, very helpful. So I want you to keep good records of your debt payoff and your extra payments. It's going to help you a lot, I promise. So what you're going to do here is this is just a lovely graph that's going to fill out for you to watch your debt balances go down over time, because who doesn't want to watch that? I mean, that's exciting. So what you'll do is start out by writing all of your debts here and the starting balance. So the starting balance is basically today. You don't have to do like when you took the loan out. I'm talking about today when you're starting to use this system or when you started your debt-free journey or whatever. Put your starting balance. It's your starting point today. It's going to be the starting point of this graph. And then to today's balance, this is where you can update over time. So keep that starting balance the same always. That's going to stay, that column's going to stay the same throughout your debt-free, debt payoff journey. Today's balance is the one that you'll change. So you'll update this whenever you feel like, once a month, once a week, whatever floats your boat, to today's balance so you can see those loans getting paid off over time, but so that you can still see that original starting balance. That's super helpful. Next is going to be your extra debt payment log. This is just where you're going to keep a record, a running record of every extra debt payment that you make. This is so extremely helpful in your bookkeeping and your budgeting to know when you made extra debt payments, what loan you paid it toward, and what money you used to pay that extra debt payment with. I found that this record was super helpful in my own journey and just staying organized. So write in the date, the amount that you paid, which loan you paid with that money, and what money it was. It was left over from a paycheck, or it was from a refund that you got, or it was from your side hustle. Keep track of that. It's going to help, I promise. And last of all is going to be your monthly debt snapshot. Now this is already partially filled out. You can see I filled this out basically until this example, this person here becomes debt-free. So you can see what this beautiful graph will look like over time. Now when it doesn't have all that information filled out, it's going to look like this. So you've got to start to get some data points on there if you want that graph to fill out, okay? That's why I have it pre-filled for you so you can see how to use it. And once you start to get more data points in there, it's going to start to fill up that graph. This column here is your monthly debt snapshot. Every month at the beginning of the month or the end of the month, I want you to write down what your debt total is. It's a monthly debt snapshot. That is going to generate this beautiful graph for you so that you can see what your debt going down over time. And that is very motivating and exciting. It won't do that from this today's balance section here because this isn't correlated to any specific date and you're just going to be updating that constantly. So this monthly debt snapshot section here is where you get that beautiful graph. Now there's a really good chance that you're going to need some extra lines for this extra debt payment log if you're making a lot of extra debt payments. I'm going to talk at the end about some Excel tips, but just so you know, come on over here to the left column where you're going to see all these numbers. Right click and hit insert, and it's going to add another line for you, and all the formulas are going to stay for you so you can add as many lines as needed for extra debt payment, the extra debt payment log and your monthly debt snapshot. There's a good chance you're going to need to add more lines, and that's totally fine. All right, next is your 5-year financial plan. Now, the reason I do this for 5 years, even though your financial plan can span out 10 to 20 years, is because 5 years is enough time to hit on some really important financial milestones like paying off your debt, getting an emergency fund saved, starting to invest. You can do a lot in 5 years. So you can completely set yourself up financially to be in a different place for the rest of your life in 5 years. And so I want you to plan out the next 5 years because a lot's going to happen in the next 5 years. And I want you to make a plan for what you're going to do with your money every single year in detail. So I want you to use this box to kind of dream about where you want to be in 5 years. This shouldn't just be with your money, but your life. How do you want to be spending your time? Who do you want to be spending it with? Where do you want to be? What kind of options and freedom do you want to have? What do you want to be doing for fun? Dream about it, and then we're going to set some intention, goals, and plans to make it actually happen. So over here, you can see I've got the next 5 years written in here. You can change those years if you want. But I want you to set a debt payoff goal, a savings goal, an investing goal, a main purchases goal, and other, if needed, goal for each year. So maybe in 2022, your goal is to pay off $20,000 of debt, and your savings goal is $3,000 to your starter emergency fund. Your investing goal is to get your 401k match at work, which is 4% or $200 a month, and to get some braces for your kid. Whatever those are, I want you to write them out specifically so that you know each year what you should be doing. And if you need help with these goals, don't worry. As you fill out your budget, or maybe you want to grab my debt snowball calculator, it's going to help you set some specific goals here. Now, next is going to be the net worth tracker. This is my favorite one because I'm in this current stage in my own financial journey, tracking my net worth. It's the main goal that we're working on increasing. Net worth is assets minus liabilities. So basically, it's everything that you own minus everything that you owe. And net worth tells a lot because it tells a lot about your current financial status. And also, it's a big deal for retirement because all of the retirement money that you're eventually going to save to retire is part of your net worth. So if you have no net worth and it's about time to retire, that means you're not on track to retire at all, and that's a bad thing. If you have a high net worth and you're getting ready to retire, that's a great thing because it's basically showing all of the assets that you have to live off of in retirement. So how do you keep track of your net worth? Well, you're going to do very similar to the debt and extra payments organizer in the layout. You're going to type in all of your assets or things that you own. And I have a few very common ones listed out here for you already. So if you have those, just go ahead and fill them in and add in any other assets that you may have, things that you own. Keep in mind that your home's current value is an asset. And then you're going to write in all of your liabilities or all of your debts and things that you owe here in the liability section. Keeping in mind that your mortgage balance or what you still owe on your home is the liability. And whatever equity you have is going to be positively added to your net worth. Same thing for cars. So write in your mortgage balance, car loans, student loans, anything here in the liability section, what type of account it is, you can write that here. And then the current balance here. And then what my formula here is going to do is going to take all of your assets minus all of your liabilities, and it's going to total up what your net worth is. Also, fill out this little section here of the last updated so you can see when you've last updated this. That way when you pop in here the next time, you know if it's time to update it. So very similar to the other sheet that I showed you a moment ago, you're going to fill in a quarterly net worth snapshot. You don't need to track your net worth every day. It's just something that you want to keep up with over time to make sure that it's increasing. So you're going to do a snapshot so we can generate this lovely graph here, which is going to show all of your liabilities here in this kind of coral color and all of your assets in this teal, and then this line is going to track your net worth. So you're going to type in your total assets here. Then in the liabilities column, you're going to type in your total liabilities at these given checkpoints, which I've added them in here quarterly for you. You can change that if you want to do it more often though. And make sure you type in your liabilities as a minus here. You don't have to do that over here in this section, just I've already got it written in the formula, but you do have to write it in as a minus here because it's going to generate this graph. Okay, if you don't have them in as a minus here, it's not going to mark them as a negative on the graph, and we want to show those as a debt. So type in at any given point here your assets, what they are, your total liabilities, and then it's going to calculate what your net worth is, and it's going to create this beautiful graph for you so you can watch your net worth go up over time, which is very, very exciting. So you're just going to keep track of all of these things over time, and it's going to help you see your net worth going up. Hopefully your assets are going up and your liabilities are going down over time as you pay off your loans. That's going to make your net worth go up, and there's a lot of net worth goals to look forward to, like having zero net worth, maybe your negative net worth to start. It's very common. There's some great milestones to look forward to, like zero net worth, your first 100,000 invested, 500,000, and then maybe even someday having $1 million and you're a millionaire. So this tracker is going to help you keep track of that whole journey. It's going to be beautiful to watch. And then the very last thing I have on here is just a very simple income tracker and credit score tracker, where each year you're going to track your gross and net income. And it's going to generate this little graph for you here. Hopefully your income's going up over time, and this is going to help you keep track of that. It's very fun to look back on. Like maybe in 6 or 7 years, you'll look back and say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize my income had grown this much. But this is a great way to track it. If you're not keeping records, you'll never know. And same thing with your credit score. Working on your credit score is great because it can help you get lower interest rates on things like home mortgages, which nearly everybody has. So keep track of your credit score here, the source, any notes, and you can use this little graph here to watch your credit score go up over time. All right, now that's pretty much it, but before I close, I want to show you a couple of little spreadsheet tips just to make sure that you're quick and efficient when using these spreadsheets. So the first one is adding lines. So it's not uncommon to have to add lines to your budget, your debt and extra payment organizer. You're going to have to add lines at one point or another. So if you want the lines to copy my formulas over, all you need to do is go to this left-hand column that has all the numbers listed on the very, very, very far left of the screen on Excel. Go to the middle of the section where you want to add a new row. Like I'm going to do like number 17 here, let's say, because it's right in the middle. Right-click and hit Insert. It's going to add a new line for you, and all the formulas are going to copy over and total down here below. Try not to do it towards the very top or the very bottom of any section. Try to go in the middle somewhere, and it's going to copy over just fine. All the formulas will copy for you as well. The next thing I'm going to show you is a common error that people get, which is if it's showing hashtags in any of your columns. If it's showing hashtags in any of your columns, it just means that the column is not wide enough to show the numbers. So let me show you. See those hashtags? It's showing because the column is not wide enough. So all you have to do is go to the very top where it's showing all those letters and move until your cursor brings up this little straight line with the arrows, and you can widen the column just like that until it displays your numbers. The next thing is I want to show you how to quickly sum things. So maybe you want to add up a couple different numbers on your spreadsheet, but you don't actually want to bust out your calculator because it's just pointless. So what you can do is just click on different cells or add up, or grab an entire cell like that by just holding down your cursor and dragging. And it's going to sum everything down here in this little bottom corner right here. So you wouldn't actually want to sum these for this spreadsheet, but say you wanted to add, this one plus that one, you can hit Command on a Mac and it will sum them for you in this little bottom corner down here. Any cells that you want to select to sum, it can do that for you. So that's a quick little hack that can help, especially on your budget sheet. If you want to see like, oh, how much did I spend on just my groceries this month? You can select those two different cells and it will sum them for you in that bottom corner there. Next is zooming in and out. So that's just going to be right here on Excel in the bottom right corner. You're going to see there's a little drag thing here where you can drag in and out. You can also push the plus and minus here, and it's going to make the spreadsheet get closer or farther away so you can see it better. And on Google Sheets, it's up on the menu bar for you to do that. Let's see here. The next thing is to upload this to Google Sheets. You're just going to go to Google sheets.google.com. There's a little manila file icon. You can tap on it and upload the file. However, I recommend you click the link that I'm going to provide you to open this in Google Sheets, and so it's a lot cleaner. And the next thing is going to be duplicating tabs, which I've already shown. This is going to come mostly in handy for the budget spreadsheet. You're just going to find the tab along the bottom that you want to duplicate, right click and hit move or copy it, and it's going to duplicate that tab for you. Then you can edit it as needed, change the title of the month and whatever, and you're ready to go. So those are a couple of my Excel tips that I think will make using this spreadsheet extra fast and efficient and helpful. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. I really hope that you love this system. It's going to help you track all of the financials that you need to get organized with your money. And I can't wait to see you progress on your journey. Please update me if things are going really well for you. I love to hear from you and see that you're doing well. It just makes my heart so happy. So if you have any user questions, feel free to send me an email and I'll be more than happy to assist you. Otherwise, good luck, and I can't wait to see how things go for you.